What's up, everybody? This is Jonathan Davis from Korn. I'm hanging out with Monster right now. We're just hanging out, talking about good old times. When I was born into a family of a lot of music and arts. My mother danced in theatrical stuff, ballet, stuff like that. My dad toured worked as a touring musician. He played gigs locally, but he'd go on the tour nationally and play keyboards. I was surrounded by music my whole life, be it from my dad gigging to eventually he bought a music store, so I had a music school, so I'd come home after school. He'd send my ass in the back to clean instruments for like $2 a day, slave labor shit back in the day, $2 for cleaning flutes and stuff. And then I'd go, when the teachers would have breaks in between students, I'd run in there with an instrument real quick and like, show me some shit, show me some stuff. That's how I became a musician. I love music. Ever since I was a little kid, it's all I've ever done. The first time I ever performed, I believe, I was gigging with my dad. I'd come in to the bars around here when I was 3 or 4 years old. They'd let me go in there and play a song with him. And then I had to leave because I was 4 years old. So, I mean, the first time was in probably a bar with my dad. The last thing I ever wanted to do in my life was start singing. I was working at the mortuary, and I had a house we had in the east side here, straight in the ghetto. And I had my friends come over, and they had a band. And they started jamming in my living room. And then one day, I just opened my mouth and started humming melody lines and singing. I don't know why I did it, but I did it. Then once I sang and opened my mouth and did that, the whole band stopped and looked at me and went, "You're the singer now." I go, "No, I'm not doing. I don't want to do that shit." "Nope, you're singing." And then that's when I started my first band. It was a band called Sex Art, and actually that band wrote Blind. A lot of people don't know that. That Blind came from my first band. I just started singing, and there's the last thing I ever wanted to do, but I just like kind of forced and pushed into it. And playing in that band, doing that, we were playing gigs, and it happened one night. Monkey and Head came into the bar and heard me sing, and they asked me to try out for the band. Our first Korn gig was at a strip club. It was called Anaheim Nights or something. I can't remember what the hell. I have the tickets somewhere. It was a strip club, and then on like some dates they'd have live bands there. So our very first Korn show was at this place, and there was 8 people there, and I was rocking out, walking around the pole, ducking the poles and shit on the stage, the main stage. But it started something, because those 8 people, most were our friends. I mean, there was probably 12 there. 8 of them are friends, and a couple people were there that night. But it started something. We started gigging and playing in all these local clubs, and things just started growing. And we were so far ahead of our time, and nobody knew what we were doing. We were playing gigs with Sublime, No Doubt, Pennywise, Cadillac Tramps. For some reason, that's where we started, bro. And it was with punk rock stuff. And then we got signed, and we did a tour. Our first tour was with House of Pain, and then Biohazard. So then we tried that. Then after that, we went with Megadeth, Ozzy, KMFDM. And the beginning was very hard to place us. No one knew where to stick us. So we pretty much had our hands in every kind of like genre. It was weird. And at that time, in the mid-90s and the early 2000s, we never considered ourselves a metal band. We never were. Metal bands at the time, in that early time, were like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest and stuff like that. We were something totally different. But by doing that, you know, we did go and do all these different things with different kinds of bands, the punk rock bands and the industrial bands and all this stuff. And the metal community opened it and accepted us. So that's where we ended up. Oh, my pre-show rituals, 2 hours before the show, masseuse. Masseuse comes in, starts rubbing me down. I got to stretch my body out because I've been beating it up for 22 years. I got to take care of what I got. So I get stretched out. Once that's done, I jump off and I start a 25-minute warm-up process where I got to warm my voice up. After that's done, I get dressed. Once I'm dressed, I turn on my music, and I don't know whatever I'm listening to at that point. Mostly it's EDM stuff. Whatever gets me pumped. As soon as John, 5 minutes, I'm pumping. I'm in there jamming out, just getting wild like a football player, just pumping myself up, screaming, throwing shit, whatever. And it's time to go. We walk the stage, intro starts, and I'm on stage. I do this religiously. I do this every day, and it's how I get myself pumped for that show, and I can give 100%.
I want you to hold the phone, look at this.
Oh, yeah.
And
Chad.
Tell me what's going on over there. Like,
dude, you know, Chad is the luckiest motherfucker in the world to ever have caught the most iconic photo of Korn in its history. Him being there. Dude, it just says everything. I lost my brother. He died to me. He took off. He was in a very, very bad spot. He needed to go and be a dad, take care of his daughter. He was very on drugs and go get it together. He went and he chose God, and a lot of people do that, and I respect that. If you need to do that, more power to you. He's alive. This was the first time that I'd seen, well, not that I'd seen him, but it was the first time he ever played on stage with me. And at that moment, I was whispering in his ear, just thank you for doing this for me. I just wanted to play with them one last time. It wasn't nothing about come back to the band, none of that stuff. I just wanted to feel that energy of the four of us rocking out in front like we used to. And it was a very emotional night, and I cried my eyes out with a lot of the fans at that place. And it was an amazing night. And I'm still going to say, Chad, you're a lucky motherfucker to get that. Korn's been a band for 22 years, right? I still get pumped to this day every single show. If I wouldn't have this band, I would probably be in a penitentiary or stuck in a morgue somewhere working, cutting up people, and eventually end up in a penitentiary. I get to go out and release all the demons I have inside myself every night. I need that. It's my therapy. It's how I live. And I found a way to do that and can do it in a big group session where I have all these kids let out whatever's going on in their life. Because, you know, life sucks. Everybody can get down and say what you want, but we all have our ups and downs, and this band has always been that. So 22 years, I'm still here. I still get pumped every single show. It's a gift. It's a blessing to be able to do what I love for this long and make a living at it, and to be able to have stuff like this and be able to reach people. It's amazing, and I won't stop. I will die on stage, mark my words. From old age or whatever, I'm not ever going to get off. As long as people come, I'll be there.